are you?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm
All
great.
right, thank you for meeting with me. So our goal today is just to talk over some things that I saw in the classroom and everything else that I did before we went on spring break.
Mhm.
And that was on March the 11th. Some great things I saw was that you were using the graphic organizer for AM and PM, and then how you iterated what the morning was for AM and what the afternoon and evening was for PM. So can you tell me what were your goals when it came to what you were expecting the students to learn that day?
Yes, the students were expected definitely to know the difference between AM and PM.
Mhm.
And depending on a question or situation, they would
Mhm.
have to distinguish between the two.
Okay, so do you feel that you really observed that in the outcome of what you wanted your students to learn?
Yes, they were able to apply what they learned.
Mhm.
Um, we went over a couple of questions, if they were to see like the time 10:15,
Mhm.
but a student or a child sleeping in sleeping,
Mhm.
would that be 10:15 AM or 10:15 PM? So
Okay.
that had them, or helped them distinguish.
Okay, and so, where could you go look for that when it came to the objective of them understanding that?
You mean, where can I go look for?
Yeah, like how could the students go look for that, like for your objective of making sure that they accomplish that goal of what you wanted them to learn? Where would they find that information
Let's see, go math books, math journals, to help distinguish between AM and PM. I have them write the definition of AM and PM.
at? Okay. And then what other evidence did you have to show that?
Evidence with, go math books, I have them have, homework,
Okay.
that I've collected from, the students. Exit tickets, I have, a Venn diagram I can't show you right now, but,
Okay.
we had created a Venn diagram.
Okay.
And they've, one side AM, one side PM, and they
Okay.
list all the activities, between the two.
Okay, now let's get back to what you had stated before. We want to narrow the focus of that is to really dive into making sure that we understand what you had wanted them to do exactly.
Mhm.
So looking at that, and I saw that to make in order to meet the needs of the students and making sure that they truly understood that was that you had prompted them to previous learn knowledge of that AM and PM and going back to those activities and asking why and being really explicit and illicit in their understanding of that when you talk about the 10:15 AM
Mhm.
or 10:15 PM. So what can we do as far as the keys to success to be able to do that?
Keys to success would definitely, recall, definitely maybe, create a situation for other students to answer.
Okay.
Share ideas with other students, maybe, they prompt each other to
Mhm.
answer questions.
And so what would that encompass? What would that close the gap on as to doing that activity? What would that have? Why would that be important in understanding to do that actual next step or activity for your students?
Why that would be important, let me see,
What would that do?
for them distinguishing between the,
Mhm.
Well, that will help them understand the concept of time.
Okay.
Understand the concept of 24 hours,
Okay.
the cycle of time. And that ties into math and as well as science, crossover science as well.
Okay. So based on what we have discussed today, what do you think your next action step will be when it comes to distinguishing the difference between the times and the why?
Next steps would be, more hands-on, maybe, create, I would say like a bigger Venn diagram for them,
Mhm.
and then have them list some activities, maybe draw a picture next to the activities to help
Okay.
associate pictures with, situations,
Okay.
and then, check for understanding that way.
Okay. And so could they check understanding with each other?
Yes, let me see, but I guess, well, yeah, asking questions to each other, maybe, I would say, I would see your suggestions on how I can better,
Mhm.
I guess, amplify that student talk
Okay.
when it comes to that.
So just one quick suggestion that I would give them, and I like the ideas and going off of the Venn diagram that you would use for the AM and PM. Once they have those ideas down, I would have the student probably partner up
Mhm.
with one another
Mhm.
with those ideas ideas, and then have them conversations about why that is AM, why that is PM, and give that differentiation, so they would have that why.
Mhm.
So with that being said, what would be your action step of what you would do next exactly?
Help them, pretty much understand the why,
Okay.
understand the, why would a situation be, AM and not PM? So
Okay.
pretty much understanding that why, the why concept.
Okay, so now is at the time where we actually need to do it and
Mhm.
practice it with
Okay.
each other,
Okay.
so we can make sure that we're in a good place when it comes to understanding what you wanna teach and what you want them to learn. So, you can be the teacher, I can be the student.
Mhm.
And so let's go ahead and practice, and so go ahead and draw what you would want me to do.
Okay.
You need some chocolate?
Oh, no, really.
Okay.
So I would draw a Venn diagram,
Mhm.
and I will label AM
Mhm.
and PM,
Okay.
and I would say, list activities that, let me see, I would say, list activities that, not coincide, list activities that,
What's another,
yeah.
okay, so what's another word? If I want to, I have the word, but I wanna see if you. So if I wanna see something, that means I gotta do what? Or
Oh.
show.
List activities that represent
Mhm.
AM
Mhm.
and
Right.
so I would have that at the top,
Okay.
and then they would list,
Okay. So if I put,
I would say 3 for each.
okay, so do you need to write that down? So
Okay,
you write that
okay.
down too.
So
So you write, you wanna make sure you're explicit and illicit
Mhm.
in the directions that you give. So me
That's
as a
correct.
student,
That's correct.
because if you tell me three activities where? Is that 3 activities here, 3 activities here?
Mhm.
Or just 3 activities, period?
For each, for
Each
each
time.
time.
So,
Okay.
I'm gonna put these activities.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put.
Mhm.
And so I did something on purpose.
Mhm.
So my AM activities as your student are wake up for school, have lunch, go to school. My PM activities are eat breakfast, eat dinner, go to bed.
How would I correct that? Or how would I close that gap? Okay.
So what would be one of the first things that you think you could do? Cause where am I not understanding something?
Where you're not understanding is eat breakfast and what time that would, okay, so I would give them
I'm your student.
okay, I'm sorry. So I would ask you in real life, when you come to school, what's the first thing you come when you get to school?
I eat breakfast.
Okay, so is that in the morning or is that in the afternoon?
It's in the morning,
It's in the morning, so if it's in the morning.
but it's dark outside.
Okay, but remember, AM is from 12 cause times change,
Mhm.
right? So from 12 to like 6 o'clock, from 12 to 7.
12 to 12.
Yeah, from 12, no,
So you remember 12 a.m. to 11 a.m. is a.m.
no, it's AM, but I also had to help them understand like 1 AM.
Okay.
Even though that's the morning time,
Mm-hmm.
is it light outside?
Okay,
So they would say no, but
Okay.
it's still considered the
morning,
morning.
right.
So yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
How was that?
So what I would do is, with that, I would differentiate by letting them know PM, by saying that is afternoon, evening.
Mhm.
And what afternoon is considered to be 12 PM to say
To
4 PM.
Uh-huh.
And then evening would be 5 PM to midnight.
Mhm.
Now, even though we're in the morning time and you're normally asleep,
Mhm.
between 12 AM to 6 AM,
Mhm.
that is still considered morning,
Mhm.
but it's just early morning. And then from 6 AM to 11 AM is where you're up, you're functioning, you're moving, you're doing those are your daylight hours
Mhm.
where you are in school. So that's how, one way that I would differentiate,
Mhm.
and also by actually putting the times.
Okay.
Because I didn't put times there either.
Mhm.
So if I would've put the times there to show my difference between the two,
Mhm.
then that's how I would do that. Now, what mistake did I make over here?
Wake up for school, have lunch, go to school. Most likely we have lunch.
Right.
Okay.
So on a normal schedule, cause see, you talk about different grade levels, when they get to school, some kids do have lunch
Mhm.
at 10:30 in the morning.
Mhm.
But for generalistic purposes,
Mhm.
we would have lunch at 12 PM
Okay.
or after.
Okay, so, in this case, I was speaking more general,
Mhm.
not really specific,
Specific
cause
to
that's
the-
what gets the.
Right, that's
okay.
what gets them because of their age level,
Mhm.
because they'll put that, because they'll say, well,
We
I
do
had
have
lunch,
Yeah.
you know, in the morning,
In the
but it was
morning.
like, no, really and truly, you do have it here because that's the way the schedule is set. But once you grow up into real life and everything else, you will actually have lunch, you know, in the afternoon.
Okay, that's a good distinction, okay, good, good.
So within that, and we are practicing everything, so we're gonna agree that when I do come see you again, and we're talking about that possibly doing your RTI times,
Mhm.
different things, because this is a skill that you all have already taught,
Mhm.
I will see what.
You will see, distinguished, improved distinguishment, between AM and PM.
Okay,
You will see also, increased, student talk, amongst each other, apartment talk amongst each other on, distinguishing AM and PM.
okay,
And that's,
all right, and
That's
then, and also just having them show the work.
okay. Student.
To show that